we live?
And we're live.
And we're live just like that.
There's a little bit of an awkward pause, but we got it. Don't worry.
What's up, everybody out there in
What's going on, guys?
YouTube world? Thank you for joining us right now. We are live with author T.W. Brown. T.W., Todd, want to say hello to everybody?
Afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at.
Yeah. We already have some people chiming in. Marissa, hi, how are you? Thanks for being here. Steph, thanks
what's
for
up, Steph?
being here. Anybody out there who knows any of TW's books, if you guys have questions or anything like that, please start chiming in, and we'll do the Q&A with them. I also heard are we doing a giveaway too? Is that what I was told?
Absolutely. I always give stuff away. I got plenty of free stuff lying around, so I might as well give it away to people who want to give it a shot.
Okay. All right, so that's cool. We'll have to figure out some kind of I don't know, maybe what we'll do is we'll put names in a hat or something.
Maybe we could do that.
And then we'll just draw names out of a hat, and that's how we got our winners.
And to be part of it, you have to be part of the live chat.
Right. If you're going to be a winner of any free stuff from our man TW here, you have to be in the chat. And we got some pen and paper here.
Yeah.
We'll just start putting names down.
We're gonna put the pen to paper.
We're going to put the pen to paper.
That's an inside joke between Chris and I from work.
We'll put the pen to paper. We'll start getting some people in a little hat or something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll just draw some winners. How's that? That work for you?
That works for me.
Alrighty. So we're here to talk about the Dead series. It's a 12-book series. That's pretty much where I guess you could say you popped onto the scene with those books. I mean, was that your first big series?
That's the one that I wanted to actually pin my hat to, but it wasn't the one that jump-started me. The one that jump-started me was just a test, sort of a writing gimmick that I was doing to get myself ready to do this, called Zomblog. I was doing this day-to-day journal entry.
Right.
It was this guy who has the whole zombie apocalypse happen around him, and just sort of, it started getting a following. And for Christmas in 2009, my wife, after I had an offer to be published, and then they wanted to change the contract right before publication, basically so they got more money and I got less money. I told them, no thanks, I'm good. I mean, I wasn't going to do this anyway, and so no. My wife actually got it all together, and that was a Christmas present for me in 2009, was the physical form of that book all compiled. And so that was what really kind of got me started. And then once I felt comfortable enough, I dove into the Dead series, and that's really that is where I make my money now. I will tell you that is, Zomblog got me started, but Dead is how I make a living.
Okay. And then if anybody is interested in the Dead series, if you haven't read it yet or anything like that, which I just started today actually, I was able to dive into the first book that you have. I wish I could have got deeper before the show started, but if you guys were interested in it, you can go on Amazon through Kindle, right? You can basically look through Amazon starting on July 20th. Right?
For 10 days.
It'll all right, July 20th, it'll run for 10 days. You can get the whole 12-book series for $6.99.
Right. And it clocks in at 1,634,000 words.
There you go. That's a lot of reading. That's.
I brought the Word doc up when I was going through, and I'm actually still doing a couple of edits that might have got missed first time through or whatever. I just wanted to be a little cleaner.
Right.
Plus, I had a whole bunch of people write forwards, just sort of introducing the series. Some friends of mine that are writers, some of the fans of the series, and that's kind of all kicking it off. And so I had the Word doc up on my computer, and there it was at 1,634,000. I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot of work there. So.
You ain't kidding. That's your wrists are. I guess your fingers don't. How do people write these days? Is it typed on everything? You type everything?
Yeah.
You're a pointer finger guy.
My wife says I'm the fastest two-finger typer she has ever seen in her life. She says I type faster with two fingers than she has seen secretaries in the office type with all 10. She says watching me makes her dizzy. So.
Is that brutal though on the keyboard? I can imagine that's brutal. Just pounding away.
That and I'm starting to get, I think it's starting to hook, so these fingers are starting to give,
So Todd, how much time progressed from the minute you started writing the first book to publishing the last book of the Dead series?
This is also Marissa's question, right? How long have you been writing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that'd be a separate one.
Yep.
Go ahead and do this one first.
From book 1 of the Dead series, which I believe the original version of it released in 2010, and book 12, Dead End, released in October of 2016.
Wow. That's
awesome.
That's invested.
Oh, wait a minute. What year is this? This is 2015. My mistake. 2015. Yeah, so it's been that long. I didn't realize it's been that long since the last book came out.
That's
Been a
crazy.
while.
So you fully wrote and published 12 books in the course of 5 years.
That would be just the Dead books, yes.
Yeah.
Because during that time, I also had the last 3 books of the 6-book Zomblog series come out, and I had probably the first 5 Death Ghoul Avas, along with a book called Tribute, which is about the tribute band music scene here in Portland, and a book called Uncivil War, which is about a full-scale modern-day race war in America. So, yeah, I stay busy.
I was gonna say those fingers, man, they're probably burnt out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. As I said, they're turning to hooks.
Anyone who wants to go out there and follow this man, by the way, on Twitter, his handle is @author_TW_Brown. You can go follow him on Twitter, where you can also get the links. You can get a link also is authortwbrown.com, which is your website.
Yes.
So you can go there also. He is a top 100 Amazon horror author and creator of the best-selling zombie apocalypse series Dead and horror comedy That Ghoul Ava. So you can, you guys can all go to those again and go check out, check him out, see what he's about. I spoke to you briefly in the pre-show, and I told you I'm only a few pages in, and I just got to the part where I found out the character's name is Steve, and how he ended up meeting this little. Well, he knew the little girl because she used to ride her bicycle around in a little park area of the neighborhood, and how he came upon her, was the scene alone was really cool. I like how Ed. I won't tell everybody who Ed is, but I like how Ed made his way from his apartment to the little corridor alleyway area where you stumble upon Ed again with the situation, and also Pluck. It's one of the rare books that I've read. I don't know. I haven't read too many authors who involve animals being infected in their books. So.
Yes.
That's and it's sad too because we're all dog. I mean, I'm a dog person.
I am too.
And when and I'm giving away a little bit, but it'll probably entice you to really want to go and start reading one of these books because anytime an animal is involved and it's a family loved one, and you witness what Steve witnessed happen to his poor little Pluck, and then you see him pages later, and he's not Pluck no more. He's one of them.
I mean, for me, the hardest thing I've ever had to watch, like I could watch Walking Dead all day, and I could watch someone get their throat ripped out by a zombie and not even care, and I'm like, oh, okay, sweet, blood and guts, The hardest scene I've ever had to watch between TV and movies ever, I Am Legend. Will Smith having to put down his dog.
Oh
yeah.
That was the hardest thing for me to ever watch. And I'm not afraid to admit, I'm a man for admitting this, I cry.
Yeah, listen, that movie, I mean, obviously that movie itself was just a great movie, but when I have a bigger problem watching animals die than I do people.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I agree. It's not hard at all for me to write off a character. It gets a lot more difficult I was telling you a little bit about once the 12th book came out and I was trying to figure out what to do, we sort of threw a thing out to the fan base and said, if I wrote books set in the dead world in your town, would anybody be interested?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I'd get maybe a dozen or so responses, and there was over 250 within the span of less than an hour, and I had to finally tell people, okay, stop. I won't write that many books, so I'm gonna stop everybody there, and we'll just sort of do it as we go. And so my objective is to actually write one for every state, and also a couple of countries. I've done Leeds, England, Tokyo, Japan will be the next time I go overseas. I'm going to wipe Tokyo out in a matter of about 72 hours. There won't be anybody left. I'm just going to destroy Japan. Worse than Godzilla ever could.
I was just going to make a Godzilla joke.
What was it? Godzilla and Quasimodo? Was that the other one?
Yeah.
In the very first spin-off, Snapshot Portland, because I decided to write it local since I was here, I actually have two dogs that are sort of bit characters in that story, and you get sort of their perspective on it. And
really?
That was also the first time I went into the booth to narrate my own work, because I have a very good production team that narrated the Dead series for Audible. But having a radio background and stuff, I decided that I wanted to start getting into that line myself, because I also needed to branch out with my series ending. And so I went in and narrated it. But there is a scene in there that I had to stop like 3 or 4 times during the recording of, and I don't want to give anything away, but it does involve a dog, and it was rough enough on me that I had to kind of walk away and reamp it, because I based it on the 2 border collies that I had here in the house, and sort of on their response to a Halloween.
Don't worry, everybody. We discussed this prior. There's going to be a little bit of a lag. He'll be back.
We hope.
We hope.
Okay. There he is.
See? We handled that perfectly.
Yes.
We handled that perfectly. We discussed in the pre-show, we had a little bit of Skype. Skype is being a little bitchy tonight. Yeah.
Tell her to check her Twitter.
Okay. Skype's being a little twitchy tonight, so just in case, we get into a little dead space, we'll just keep talking until everything clears up and we're back again. So you said, okay, so it was 2 border collies that you had.
Yes, and actually their characters in the book were based on the reaction they had to a Halloween costume. One of my dogs went for me and wanted to tear my throat out, and the other one just wanted to come up and be pet. And that is sort of how those 2 dogs see their master once their owner is turned. And that scene is a real rough one. It was a rough one to write, but it was even tougher to narrate.
Oh, yeah. So, I could see that happening, though. Like, that's just, like you said, writing off a character. Like, for me, if I were to write somebody off, I'd be like, yeah, and this guy died this way. But then, I have a Great Dane. He's almost 3 years old. And there's one popping up.
This one is actually one. Yeah, that's the one that tried to go for me when I was when I walked in the house in my costume.
There you go. Yeah,
my buddy. He's my frisbee dog. Okay, hop in. But yeah, he's my frisbee dog. But when I came to the back door and started pawing at the window, hackles up. He was growling. He wasn't having it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the world's biggest dummy inside the other room, so but he'll let you know when someone's here, and he, either you could tell a difference in the bark.
Yeah.
Because just as well as I do, they can smell the person by the time they even get up the driveway, and they know who it is or not. And I can tell between, oh look, Ryan just pulled up to, well, who the hell's here?
Yeah.
So.
I trust their opinion on strangers more than I trust my own. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except his dog's version of approval is headbutting you in your man region.
Yeah, he does the full ramrod into the crotch.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's what my Newfie does.
It's the juggernaut move. I call it the juggernaut. So, which we found out also that our man TW is a Marvel fan. I have to include that in every podcast we do.
They just have a more complex and more complete universe.
You know, we really need to get that whiteboard and hang it in the back and start a tally because we have to.
You want to see how far behind you are?
No, no. I just want to see
all right,
a physical,
yeah,
version of it. You know, like
it's a lot to a little, like probably 10 to 1.
And 1 being me.
What? I think so. I don't think we really have.
No, I think Elizabeth would agree to me. DC, I'm pretty sure. Even though she was in Guardians, I'm pretty sure she agreed DC. I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna have to go with no because she was in Guardians.
Okay. What does that mean?
Why would you? Why? Look, there it is. Oscar, we are like
Whatever.
So, all right, let's get. Come on, give me some meat and potatoes here.
All right. So we have a question from one of our friends, Marissa. She wants to know how long have you been writing in total?
Wow, in total, I would say it has to go all the way back to about 4th grade. The teacher put 3 sentences up on a chalkboard and told us that we had to, her assignment was she wanted the class to write a single page with that sentence appearing somewhere in it, and mine ended up being 9 pages typed. I think I wrote the first unofficial sequel to Jaws, so this was back in the 70s. But that was kind of like when it bit me, and then it really went to the heart once I read Stephen King's The Stand back in 1979.
That's awesome.
That was when it was my dream. I honestly never thought this would be happening. I mean, once your friends grab your book and, maybe a couple of family members get suckered into getting one, you think that's probably going to be the end of it, sales-wise. For this to have taken off the way it has caught me by surprise. I never expected it.
Now, is this something, when did you officially, start writing?
For publishing, I started a couple of times, but I had ex-wives that kind of sidetracked along the way with comments like, "You're wasting your time. No one's going to ever read your stuff. Why aren't you spending more time with me?" And so I would put it away. And then I had one of my third ex-wife actually found the box of all my stuff and said, "If you don't do this, you're never going to know, and it'll drive you crazy."
Mm-hmm.
And my fourth wife, who has been my wife for 15 years now, she was the one who said, "Do this, or you're just not going to be able to live with yourself. Pick it up and do it, and we'll see what happens. And if nothing happens, who cares? But it's what you want to do, so do it." And that was back in about 2008. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that was back in about 2008 when I started, and my first book was published in 2009.
Okay. Very nice. Now I have a about character development.
Yeah.
So let's take Steve for instance. Is Steve a character? Was he developed on someone you pulled from life, or maybe your own personal background and made him a character, or is this all just something you just kind of grabbed from the air and placed? When you're developing a character, do you pull from real life a lot, or is it all just made up?
I do pull from real people quite a bit, people that I've known. And actually, Steve, when I created him and named him, he is named for my best friend who passed away from cancer. And we were in the Navy together. We did our tour together. He was best man at my first wedding. Our sons were born a week apart.
Wow.
And he was always in my corner. No matter what happened in life, he was always there for me. And so when I named Steve Hobart, when I came up with the name, it was based on him. There's a little bit of him in the character, but I sort of had the idea of what I wanted this person to be, and I just didn't have a name yet. And I just decided that the name would come because of my friend, that he was actually on hospice at that time and was, it was an any day now thing. And so I named the character for him. But I do pick and pull from people that I know. Sometimes the character comes out and I pull little bits of how I see them, and then I infuse it and make it much more over the top than what they really are. And sometimes I make them completely unlike, the exact opposite of who they are in real life. So And that's always fun because I talk to them ahead of time. I say, hey, I'm going to borrow your name. Is that right? And they get excited. A lot of the guys in the tribute band scene here locally have thrown their names into the hat to have characters named after them, including the guys who do the Motor Breath is a Metallica tribute band here locally. They were the 4-man badass biker gang that showed up in Liberty, South Carolina in the Snapshot spinoff for that location. And I told them all ahead of time, I said, you know you're going to be villains and you know it's not going to end well for you, right? And they're like, so much the better, man. So, they loved it, and they were really into it. And I've got the new villain in my New Dead reboot series is named after a friend that is one of the nicest guys in the world. But in this book, he is a neo-Nazi white supremacist prick that is just, there's nothing good or redeeming about this guy at all. I mean, he couldn't be any more different from the real Donnie. But I just, I borrow the names because naming characters is really the hardest part for me.
Really? Giving them a name?
It is, because if I was left to my own devices, I'd have like 4 Chads, 3 Chris's, 2 Sheilas, and 8 Jamies. So,
okay. I'm not against the name Chris, by the way. I mean, I'm just saying.
I have a Chris in, I believe. Oh yeah, I do have a couple of Chris's in a couple of different books. So one of them is he gets executed, so that's not good.
Nothing like a little execution.
Yeah. But yeah, that's, like I said, naming characters really is the hardest part for me.
That's interesting. That's interesting. It's good to, I guess, I don't know. I guess you would want the name to fit the character also, though. Like, you wouldn't want, like, a badass character and call him Joey. I don't know.
You wouldn't want, like, just total, like, badass to be named, like, Ned.
Yeah.
Or something,
Yeah. This is Sven.
Sven?
Sven. You know what?
What the fuck, are we in Iceland?
Side joke, when I used to bounce, people who, like, at the beginning of the night when they were sober, and then would know my name as Chris, but at the end of the night, I'd tell them Sven. All the time. It worked, like, all the time. I was known as Sven. It was great. So anyway, well, all right. First of all, I would like to say thank you for your service, to you and your friend also who passed. Thank you guys for serving for the country. We're in private security, slash I do law enforcement also. So, always want to give our thanks to you guys. In service or not.
And that's another thing. I just want to take a moment, especially if you're in enforcement, especially with the kind of the climate that we've lived in the last couple of few years. One of the things that I try to avoid in my series is the stereotypical all military, all police are bad guys thing.
Right.
I think it's overdone. I think it's too easy to jump on that bandwagon and beat it to death. I actually had an email that came to me because of, and I didn't even think about the sentence. And you'll actually come to it very soon. It's in book 1. Steve comes to a roadblock, and the police cars they're abandoned. The cops have been bitten or turned, and he just thinks as he's driving by, I wonder if all the pressure we've put on them because of, all the stuff on the news and everything made these guys wait too long. And
right.
I had some guy hit me up with this, like, if it would have been on paper, it would have been a 3-page rant going on and on about if that's how you feel and you think that the cops are out there trying and they're not out there hurting people and doing this, then I'm not going to read your stuff. And I went, I don't care. First of all, it was written in 2009, jacktard. But, other than that, I really don't care what you think. I mean, people are going to like me. People are going to hate me. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're not going to meet.
Right.
I mean, it's not like we're going to go for dinner. Although I have had a fan that came over from England and we had her husband over for dinner and kind of showed him around and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's happened. But, I mean, for the most part, people that read your stuff, you're never going to meet them, But
True.
I make myself accessible, and so it's just really easy for him to tee off, and I guess it made him feel better. I didn't respond to it. I don't respond to that. I don't respond to negative reviews because I think it's an amateur move. If you can't stand a 1-star review, you're in the wrong line of work. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you expect to be criticized. I mean, that's what people do the most, and everyone has an opinion.
People are going to like you, and people are going to hate you. That's all part of it.
Yeah.
And one thing,
Thin, if your skin is that thin, you're in the wrong line.
Yeah.
It's not the place for you to be working.
One thing that Chris and I really learned, like at the job we work together at the hospital, and him being in law enforcement, one thing we've learned is a lot of people don't care what uniform you wear or what badge you wear. The minute that they see that uniform, they instantly want to test your authority.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it almost never ends well for them, but they still do it. And I think that's really part of the problem is that in today's society, not to go on a rant, but is that people are taught that you can do whatever the hell you want, and there's no consequences. You can talk to people however you want. You can do whatever you want to people, and there's no consequences. And that's been the biggest problem.
They're so used to doing it at the safety of their keyboard that they lose that filter. But we can talk about that forever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, and one that between the keyboards and these with the cameras, it's everybody's a victim and nobody did anything wrong. It's always the law enforcement or military's fault. So.
Agreed.
Too aggressive. We're just too aggressive. We go out there, we're all hopped up on energy drinks, and we just like to beat people up and shoot them.
Yeah, that's all we do.
And that's why you won't find a lot of radical military, police, or religious types in my series. I mean, every once in a while I can pull one of those out of the hat, but it's every time you meet one, you're not going to have that storyline unfold. You're not going to have them be some, radical extremist in one version or the other. So there's good and there's bad in every form. So
yeah, I wanted it so that way we could start pulling names. You know what I mean?
I was just going to make a full list now, and then later on I'll write them separately.
Oh, well then here, let me give you a piece of paper. Hold on, wait. We're going to start our list of names so that way we can start doing a giveaway here and there. Oh. All right, so
Turn the back page for a second.
back page.
Yeah, we got a question from Steph.
All right, we got a question from one of our viewers. Her name's Steph. Have you ever thought of writing a different genre book?
Yes, actually I do. I mean, the horror comedy is about as different from Dead as I think I can be on a regular basis. But every year I like to write something that has nothing at all to do with any of this. So a couple of years ago, I wrote a book called Uncivil War, which was about a full-scale military. It was sort of an ethnic war, big race war that happens in modern-day America.
Mm-hmm.
The idea kind of came to mind when I was sitting at home when I watched the Rodney King riots happen back in the early 90s. So that was my project that year. The following year, I wrote a book called Tribute, which was about the tribute music band scene here in Portland. And right now I'm writing a book about what it takes to own a Newfoundland, what it takes to go into the show ring with them, draft cart work, water rescue work. Because when I do stuff, I like to research it. And when I bought my Newfie, I couldn't find anything outside of the generic Barron's book that they basically cut and paste. They put every dog's name, on the cover, and it's basically the same book over and over again.
Right.
And anybody that's had, any kind of dog knows that every dog is different.
Yeah.
And a Newfie it's different than any other dog I've ever had. And what it takes, plus being somebody new going into a show ring, learning water rescue, just all these things that you don't think about. And so I'm writing about that this year. And then next year, I'm actually going to be writing a motivational book that's going to be designed for the incarcerated population about basically taking control of your life and making sure that when you come out, you stay out.
Now, this is called, that's something you're doing, as I don't want to call it a charity or whatever, but it's something you do for the prison system or the jail system. It's called Business in a Box.
Yes, I work with a group of men in a facility here in Oregon. I was invited in by their work group supervisor. I come in and I talk to them about getting their own self-sustaining business together, whether it's artwork, whether it's like one guy does leather work, another guy wants to go into audiobook production, another guy wants to be a writer. One young man wanted to design board games. It's just the job types that they are looking to do are all different, but the ideas are all going to be the same. Starting a business really is the same no matter what kind of business you're starting.
Right.
And the first hurdles are always going to be the same for these guys no matter what. And that's coming out, taking care of yourself, taking care of business, and, working towards a very pro-social lifestyle that breaks you away from the cycle that, caused that revolving door, or even if it was just the one time that got you in for any length of time, but breaking that cycle and moving them forward.
Very nice. That's very nice. And obviously these are people that the system, I guess, scans, or I don't want to say scans, but filters, I would imagine, that will have a chance to go back out and,
Yes, they are handpicked by the guy that is the coordinator for that work group. He actually handpicks them. They have to apply to the program, and then he looks at their whole record during their time inside. Were they troublemakers? What did they have going on? And even some guys that maybe were troublemakers when they first started that have maybe spent the last 4 or 5 years turning themselves around and are really focused on, doing the right thing, get a chance to go in and into the program. But right now it's capped at 10 members. So it's a very limited number of guys that are there. But it's also at a minimum facility. So they have guys getting out all the time. There was a young man that just got out last week, and he's done wonderful work while he was inside, and he's already working hard. I mean, he hit the ground running, basically.
Very good.
It's always good to see that happen.
Well, thank you for doing that. Obviously, I mean, that's a very that's a generous thing for you to do with your time. Obviously to invest into people who are locked up for whatever. But it's good. Like you're giving back and you're trying to give other people a second chance, which is good. Everybody deserves at least one second chance. So, Awesome. Well, let's try to bring this back. We'll get back into what we're all here for, and that is that's the Dead series, and what you do as a writer. In the Dead series, because we usually like to ask people, "What's your ZPOC plan?" Does the series at all give any kind of insight to what your personal ZPOC plan would be?
I use bits and pieces. If you follow Steve's group, they actually are sort of out here in my...
Don't worry. This is okay. This happens.
It happens every 15 minutes or so.
We're expecting this kind of thing to happen. It's Skype.
Lucy, do not say those 2 words or I swear to God.
He'll be back. Yep, there he is. He's right there. See?
It's something that I do put things in there that I've considered. A lot of the Steve storyline, like I said, happens out here where I live. So there are areas that I've been to that I've looked at. It's not that I think it's going to happen tomorrow, but any other kind of disaster that could take place, there's still always the potential. It's more about a preparedness thing, but. Little bits and pieces of my own nuggets of what I think might be the best way to handle it are in there, along the line.
I mean, now knowing that you have a military background, I'm sure you are we locked, stocked, and stockpiled? I mean,
I have enough. If the big earthquake hits tomorrow, I'm fine.
Right.
Because I living out here on the West Coast, that's kind of the biggest disaster we have looming on. They always talk about the big one out here. So
right, yeah.
That's really the thing that you prepare for in this neck of the woods. So I'm good to go, and I've got connections. I've got a local police officer to one side of me, a guy who's in active duty military next door to him, the mayor one house over, a landscaper next to him, and then another military member at the end of the street. And that's our little dead-end road right here. We're the only people on this road. So
Oh.
This is a good street.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, you guys can just, a dead end, you just put that barricade up and you become your own little Alexandria.
Oh yeah, and we're on a hill too. We're at the top of a hill. We're well fortified and able to sort of keep everything at bay. Plus, there's woods around us, so it's going to be hard to get to us.
Now we know where we're going.
Yeah, I'm going to have to head out to Oregon. Speaking of, I guess, your area and stuff like that, I mean, you know, we talked about if you were a Walking Dead fan, if you followed the Fear the Walking Dead, and you said that you were recording it. Fear the Walking Dead, I don't know if you know this, but starts out in California.
Yes, it does. I've watched the first couple of seasons. I just haven't watched this season.
Oh, okay.
This season run through. No, I followed the first two. I'm letting this season sort of build up, and I'll watch it.
What'd you think about that storyline, having it start in California?
I like that they finally gave a sort of a ground zero and let things happen. I know that a lot of people sort of became disinterested in the show because, it wasn't the original show. It wasn't The Walking Dead. There wasn't as much going on sort of zombie-wise in the beginning. I actually like that part of it. I just can't find a single character that I care about.
Really?
They could all die, and I wouldn't care. I have not attached myself to any of them so far. That's my only...
So in The Walking Dead, you have a character that you've attached to.
Yes, and they did kill Glenn, so there's that. I always liked him. Now, I have a daughter who has sworn that if Daryl goes, she's done watching it. But, that's what happens when you've got 21-year-old daughters. So.
Well, yeah, that's how 90% of the women watching us right now feel. Don't worry about it.
But I'm actually now a big fan of the Negan character.
Okay, you know what? And I think you fit right along with. I mean, so are we. Yeah, I mean we're.
Love it. Yes.
If you look in the background, if I move my head here, you'll see behind me up on the wall. There's a couple of Negan things here.
Actually, we have our Oscar Negan print. Oscar's up here.
Yeah. I don't know if he can see that. Can he see that?
If you move your head.
I see the boxes behind you.
He won't be able to see those though. We'll show you at the end of the show.
Yeah, cool.
One of our good friends, I like to call him a good friend, Oscar, who I think is watching, right?
Yeah, he was there somewhere. Yep.
He's on Twitter. Oscar Rodriguez III.
Rodriguez.
Oscar O. Rodriguez III. He's a really good artist. He does a lot of artwork for The Walking Dead. I'll show you at the end of the show our Negan print he did. It's amazing. But then we're definitely Negan fans. I for one, I'm a Team Rick guy. And I think that's just because his character, the background in the character, I can relate to. His thought process and how he acts and the things he does. Granted, I would do a lot of things that he's done. I would do them a lot differently. I think I would actually be even more of a Rick-tator than he is.
Like more not aggressive, but like more proactive about things.
More proactive about things. Probably a lot more stern than he is.
Like ruling with an iron fist kind of thing.
Would be more Shane without going to bed with my partner's wife.
Well, he thought he was dead.
Yeah, he did. But then when he came back, he didn't back down any. Shane would have been more. And anybody, when we watched the first season, it was great because everyone was like, "Oh well, we know what you'd be like." There it is, unfolding on screen. My wife's like, "Yes, that would be him." And I didn't mince any words. I thought that half the time he was right and Rick was wrong.
Right.
That was my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like Shane probably in the beginning he was right about a lot of things compared to Rick.
Yeah. I was sort of unfortunately, having read the comic books before the series came out, I knew Shane's fate.
Right.
Provided they stuck to the storyline, which for the most part they do. So I knew his fate. So I knew how it was going to end for him, and that was kind of a bummer. But without that knowledge, I would have been cheering for that guy from day one. I mean, I would have said, hey, "You're kind of a jerk. The guy's back. Give him his wife back. Back off of that scene." But other than that, I was constantly in the camp of, you folks should be listening to what he has to say.
Yeah,
You know?
I
When
definitely.
he put the door open on that barn, that was the smartest thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Shooting Otis, I definitely would have done that. And
That's why I don't trust him.
and the kid that they found, that young Hispanic kid they found that brought him back and had him tied up in the barn.
Yeah.
I would have killed him light years before Shane finally did it.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
what Rick would have thought, he would have been dead. But let's go from TV series to movies. Favorite zombie movie?
The original Dawn is what hooked me.
Yes.
I saw it in the theaters, and in fact, I had a neighbor who had all daughters. So for my 14th birthday, he took me to go to the movies. He always took me to things that he couldn't take his daughters to. So we went and saw this double feature, and Dawn of the Dead was actually the second movie. And I was 14, and 2 rows in front of me during the raid on the low-rent apartment complex, when that first guy gets his head splattered all over the wall, this girl, like 2 rows in front of me, puked into the popcorn in her boyfriend's lap. Hey, man, I was 14. That was the coolest thing I had ever seen in my life. And I was hooked. That was it. I was done. That was my thing. And, in fact, I can just grab it. I have to kind of bounce out of your picture for a minute, but this is one of my...
Oh, that is so cool.
That's one of my
really
prized
cool.
possessions. It's my,
And it's
my
signed.
Frank Dawn poster signed by Romero.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah, the original Dawn is my favorite. I wasn't upset with the remake. I thought Zack Snyder did a fine job. It was a totally different movie with its own mythology and everything, and I was fine with it. It didn't bother me. It wasn't Dawn of the Dead. It could have been called anything else.
Right.
But the original Dawn is still for me the classic.
It's a good choice.
It
It's
is.
a very good choice.
Yep.
We'll go back to the show and The Walking Dead. Do you have to date, or maybe even in the comic, doesn't have to be the show, a favorite scene?
Up until Negan's character, it was the barn scene with Shane. Because to me, that was such a pivotal moment. To me, I thought for everybody, when he threw that door open. But since then, it has to be what I call the trial scene when he's got them all on their knees and
Yes.
the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, that character has made my job much more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Because every villain that I write from this point forward is going to be compared to that. And that's because the actor's done such a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been done so well.
JDM is amazing.
Yeah, it's just been done so well. And it's hard to infuse that kind of energy into anything and make it as powerful as I think he's portrayed it on screen.
Right.
And when he had his interview and they said, does he see himself as a bad guy? And he said, absolutely not, or there's no way that I could do this. Yeah, he sees himself, he is Rick to his group. That's just
true.
If you saw the story from his side, and you saw these people that came in and killed all of your people, how would you handle it?
Right. Yeah.
You're seeing how Rick handles it. He's killing people. He doesn't play around. He's learned that you got to take them down. They learned that in Alexandria. They learned that, all down the line, they kept getting screwed because they waited too long. You're seeing a guy that doesn't wait.
It's true. And part of that
trial scene was I thought it was just exceptional.
The way they did it was great. And the fact that they got complaints that it was too gory. Go away. Don't watch the show no more. Just go away. Because that's ridiculous.
Yep. I think they executed it, no pun intended, very well.
Absolutely.
I think that the way they handled it was fantastic. I give a lot of props to, Nicotero and drawing a blank on the other directors' names.
Me too. The only one I really Gimble and
Kirkman.
Kirkman.
They are just a fantastic team, and I love the way that they gave Abraham a bigger send off than he had in the comic books.
Yeah.
I think shooting an arrow through his eye and killing him was a very anticlimactic way of killing a major character.
Right.
And so I think when they killed what's her name,
Yes.
Denise.
killing Denise because she was even though she was becoming a major character, she was still a very minor character.
Yeah.
So that
No,
was Olivia.
Sorry.
That's a very fitting death for her.
Yeah.
But Abraham deserves something more, and that's why I'm glad they killed him along with Glenn. I
Yeah.
really am.
And even Gibble said that, you know, on Talking Dead, you know, he said that he wanted to rewrite Abraham's story and give him a better send off. And, you know, it's true. He definitely deserved it. So
That's the thing about writing, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's with the new Dead series that I'm just 2 books into now. You know, there are so many ideas that I had after the fact when I wrote the Dead series that I was like, I really could have done more with this. And so now that's actually what I'm able to do. So it's, you know, that's, like I said, that's the beauty of writing. You can always create something else.
and the new Dead series it's the spin-offs, right? You said City by City?
Well, that's the Snapshot series.
That's the Snapshot
Those are all
series.
standalones, and those
Okay.
are individual cities. I'm doing Las Vegas, Nevada right now. But the new Dead series starts with Onset, and then book 2 is called Alone. And unlike the series that you're into, and this comes from, you know, when a writer has an idea that they think is really cool and is going to work great, and then the execution version of it, the readers are like, they're not in your head,
Right.
so they don't get it, and they're like, you know, you've lost me here.
Right.
And that's what happened, because when I wrote the Dead series at the time, if you backtrack to 2009, there was not as much zombie-related, you know, fiction on the market.
Right.
If you go back to 2007, there was almost none. You know, it was really
True.
hard to find. And so that's when I was sort of writing. And one of the first stories I read was just, it was this guy fights his way across town to get this necklace. He puts down his wife in the opening scene, fights his way across town to get this necklace that she gave him, and it was a gift. And he gets to the school that he was a teacher at, gets the necklace, fights off these zombies, and then he hears screams. He rushes through the school, rescues this female teacher that have 3 zombies coming at her. And he thought she was kind of hot all the time anyway, and they have sex on the desk.
All right.
And I'm like, really? 3 dead bodies laying there, you're splattered in goo, and you love your wife. Okay, that's it.
Yep.
14-year-olds are not going to write this fiction anymore. So I had just read Martin's Story of Fire and Ice, the Game of Thrones, eventually,
Yes.
you know, master series on HBO. And so I wanted to give characters more depth, kind of like what he did, where he wrote every chapter from a different character's perspective in the book. So when I wrote the Dead series, I have 3 rotating chapters, and that's what you'll find. You'll find Steve's chapter, then you'll find the vignettes, and then you'll find the geeks. They're 3 separate, really kind of 3 separate books that stand alone because they're their own thing. The vignettes were just supposed to be like little teeny snapshots of what's happening all over the world to act as a palate cleanser.
Right.
But what I ended up doing is giving people way too many names of characters that you see for one page and don't see again. And they're like, okay. Well, in my idea, that worked perfect. Like I said, it was a palate cleanser.
Right.
But for a reader, they're like, what the hell is this? You know, and so it just... Now, I will tell you that there is a vignette storyline that starts in book 1 that goes through all 12 books.
Okay.
We'll go. But the formula for the Dead series is every book is 18 chapters. There's 6 Steve chapters, 6 vignette chapters, and 6 geek chapters. Every 3 books, sort of a la George Lucas, is kind of an arc to the story.
Okay.
By the 3rd book, you'll get some closure. And then you'll do 4, 5, 6, and in 6 you'll get closure. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's kind of how the series progresses. Like I said, the vignettes, I learned, so by the time you get to book 3, you'll sort of see that the vignettes have calmed down a little bit. And I'm not throwing 20 more stories in at you, just
Right.
little... and they were just supposed to be snippets so that you got the idea of what was happening all over the world. You know, it sort of takes you out of the moment of Steve and gives you a break and then dropped you into the geeks. And the geeks are 4 guys who thought the zombie apocalypse was going to be awesome, and in about 24 hours found out that it sucked.
Right. I think that's going to be me. That would be me. It's going to be great.
You'd be a good Kevin.
I would. I'd be a good.
You meet Kevin Dreon. When you meet Kevin Dreon, you'd be a really good Kevin. And you're sitting next to a really good Mike. Just so that might help you a little bit.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Why do we have this feedback? What is going on right now? These speakers you bought suck.
Better than not working at all, like it was.
All right, so real quick, we do have a couple questions from our viewers, and then but first I'm gonna throw this out there. If you're just tuning in by some chance, which I don't think any of you are, but author T.W. Brown, you can go to Twitter and follow him at author T.W. Brown, and there you will see he's got a link also to his webpage. There it's authortwbrown.com. He is doing a promo right now starting July 20th. It'll run for 10 days where you can get all 12 of his books in the Dead series for $6.99. Does that include? Is that for audio or?
No, it's just the ebooks.
Okay.
Just the ebooks. But what I will do is
that's causing feedback.
Because we had this whole giveaway thing going on.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to throw out there is if you have one person that says they're going to dedicate themselves to listening to all 12 books, I will gift them the entire 12 audiobooks on Audible. Well, if you email me, I'll hit you up anyway. You guys have automatically gotten in. I will get you the whole series on Audible if you're up for it.
Absolutely.
If you got a viewer, if you want to do a giveaway, I will be very happy to give away all 12 books to somebody on Audible. They only have to have, as long as they've got an Audible subscription, they can do it. And if they don't, they can get in, grab their Audible subscription, get their 1 month free trial, download all 12 of the books for free, and then quit. I don't care. They can do that. There's a lot of good stuff out there, though. Once you do it, you find yourself hooked, because that's what I do all the time now. Everything I do is on Audible, because I'm writing all the time, and so it's hard to sit down and read. As soon as I sit down to read, it's almost like when I'm editing. My eyes start to drift, and I start to fall asleep. So I get a lot more of my reading pile taken care of if I listen to it on Audible.
All right, so I got some names here. They're crumbled up. I want to ask you a question real quick for Marissa. Marissa had a question. Pull up on the feed, please. Marissa's question. Marissa had a question, and she said, other than a zombie apocalypse, what would be your next favorite type of apocalypse to write about?
I'm a child of the whole Reagan Cold War era, so I was really fixated on the nuclear winter thing back in the day when, like that movie The Day After that scared the hell out of so many people when it ran back in, I think, 1984 with Jason Robards, set in Kansas City with a nuclear exchange between us and the Soviet Union. So that whole thing, being in the Navy and being a submarine sonarman, my job was to hunt down the Soviet submarines that were going to try and drop those bombs on our cities. So I was really sort of fixated on that whole idea of the nuclear winter.
That's pretty awesome.
Which I think would be way worse than an apocalypse.
You know what? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and listen, if we were to get a what was it? If the mountain out there in Washington, is that Mount St. Helen?
Mount St. Helens, yeah.
If she were to go again, they say that we would be completely blacked out.
Well, the big concern right now is the caldera in Yellowstone.
Right.
Because it sits over a geological hotspot, which is sort of how the Hawaiian Islands have been formed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, they've talked about this. We're going to do science for a moment, but the spreading theory of the floor, and it's these hotspots that are punching through and sending all that magma up and then building these islands. There's an island being built out there right now. They're worried that there's a hotspot underneath that caldera that if it hits just right and it blows, it could theoretically cause a global blackout. And it could last for up to 10 years, and there's not much chance of anybody surviving it.
Hashtag science. Hashtag Beast Mode NY podcast, well, you can get educated at the same time. Thank you very much for that. All right, so
you do research on when you're writing.
hey, you know what? But why not?
I'm positive I'm on a government watch list.
Just based on Google alone.
Hey, at one time I had windows open for the effects of the human body when it's boiled, how to make a truck bomb, and the effects on how to keep a human body frozen and preserved so that it can be used for consumption.
I'm only slightly concerned, about 5% concerned.
So I think we're on the watch list now for that happening live.
We're gonna have to go and like download this video, edit it.
When you get to book 4, when you get to Dead Winter, that'll all make sense.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're gonna do a giveaway. What do you got up? What's up? What do we got first?
Okay, well, the first one will make it the small one. Whoever wins this one, I will gift them a copy of the full box set. The $6.99 ebook box set for $6.99. All I'll need is I'll need an email for an Amazon their Amazon email that I can gift it to. So I need an email to basically send them their gift.
Okay, so the winner of this giveaway, what we'll do is we're gonna just I got some names here. We're gonna pick them
I
up.
got a bag. You want to throw them in a bag?
No, I'll just kind of shake them and then have you pick one.
Shake and bake.
The winner of this gets the 12-book series. The only thing you'll need to do is go to, we'll have them go to your Twitter.
And DM him.
Follow him, and then go into his messaging and DM him your email address.
The one that you use for your Amazon account.
Yeah, the one you use for your Amazon account. So that way when he sends it to you, it'll go right to your Amazon, and it'll be bingo right there.
And I'll jot their name down. I'm here in my office, so I'll have their name right here. So when it comes up, I'll go, oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay, here we go. First winner coming up. Woo! I'm excited. Go ahead, Ryan. Pick up all.
Oh, God, hold on.
And the winner is...
Steph.
The winner is Steph. Stephanie, you won. You won the 12-book set. Very nice.
Yeah. Don't worry, Lucy. I took your name out of the drawing.
Lucy, we didn't want you to win.
Want it, so you know.
Yeah. Very nice. All right, so we have. So should we put people back in once they win, or no? Leave them out.
I think leave them out, right?
Leave them out. Give everybody a fair chance, I guess. We don't. What else we got? What do you got? Anything else?
So let's do let's do the 2 books for the New Dead series on Audible. Book 1 and Book 2 of the New Dead series on Audible, and those will be gifted. So, yeah, let's do that.
Same thing. They send you an email address in your DM?
Yep.
All right. Same thing. Go to his Twitter. Follow him. Don't worry about this. Go to his Twitter and follow him, and then send him a DM. Give him your name and your email address, and he'll send everything to you. There we go. We're back in action. See, that only takes a few seconds. We're back in action. All right. So the next winner of the New Dead series, the 2-book Audible series. Here we go. Right? Are you serious? Go ahead.
Jeannie, you won.
Jeannie, you won. Jeannie won the
First 2 books of the New Dead series.
The first 2 books of the New Dead series on Audible.
Yep.
Very nice. So you guys can be chilling in the car listening to it wherever you and Nick gotta go. You and Nick have to go to a doctor's appointment or wherever you gotta go. You just pop it in and start listening as you're driving.
All right. Okay, I got both names down.
Anything else?
Yeah, let's do the grandpas. Let's give them the whole original Dead series on Audible. It's going to be 12 books. So this would be the one. So that's probably they're about $24 a pop. You know, if you were to buy them, their credits or or your single credit if you're an Audible user. But yeah, so that's probably close to $300 worth of Audible goodness.
Holy crap! All right, here's the big one.
Oh God,
this one's for all the marbles, people. Here we go. Shake.
Shake, senora, shake. Oh God.
The pressure's on you, bro.
You know what's... Hold on. Before I draw this, I just want to say right now that no matter what happens here, I am royally fucked. It's like dating 4 women at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You got 4 women you got to choose from right now, bro, and you're going to make 3 of them.
Which one gets the ring? Jesus Christ.
You're going to make 3 of them really pissed off right now. And the grand prize winner is...
Oscar.
Oscar! Wait, but Oscar can only win if he's here.
He was here, though, before.
Doesn't matter, he's got to be here now.
Oh, okay. Well, I put him in the drawing because...
Oscar has to be here. Oscar, if you're here, you got to let us know. Because if not, we got to have a winner listening right now. Don't worry about that. That's just normal.
Oscar, you have until he returns.
Oscar, we need to know if you're here, bro. If not, we got to draw again.
Okay.
Hold on. We're just seeing in case we get something.
I forgot Oscar's name was even in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Oscar. I didn't mean to call you a woman.
Oh boy, here we go. All right. Oscar is not responding, so I think we might have lost him. And if you're not listening, those are the rules. Those were the rules that you have to be watching and listening.
Why am I getting
to win?
Why am I getting angry faces?
So now we've got 3. All right.
And that's for 3.
Now we got 3. So you're gonna piss off 2 women and make 1 really happy.
Oh God.
All right. And we also, let's not forget, we do have beast mode stuff to give away, right? Do we have beast mode stuff to give away?
Steph said we're going to get names of people that participated in the...
You mean Donna.
Donna.
Right.
Jesus, my bad. Donna said that we're going to get names of people that participated in the podcast.
Yeah.
And then we'll give her all the names of the people that were involved, and then we'll go about it that way.
Okay. All right. Here we go. One more time.
The anticipation is killing you, isn't it?
He went with the middle choice. And the middle choice is... Marissa! Marissa wins the grand prize. Ding, 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 ding.
There we go.
Yeah.
Very nice. Lucy, just so you know, I tried to give him the one with your name on it.
No, he didn't.
But he didn't pick it.
No, he didn't.
He didn't pick it.
Here's what I'll do for the ones who didn't win. if they do the follow thing and then message me, I will hook them up with their choice of either book 1 of the original Dead books or book 1 of the new Dead series, their choice, or
There you go.
any of the snapshots. So they can go any way they want on that whole setup.
You guys heard that. Make sure you follow TW on Twitter
Yep.
and DM him and let him know that you didn't win any of the prizes, but he will still hook you up.
See? We don't have losers on this show.
We don't.
We're
all winners.
We never have losers on this show. Congratulations to all our winners, which would be all of you now, except for Oscar, because you weren't here.
Damn it. We'll DM him later and let him know, like, hey, hit him up.
We'll let Oscar know we'll have Oscar hit you up too. But that's awesome. Thank you very much for doing that for everybody.
Happy to do it.
All right, so we got all.
I do want to say
what?
That I'm sorry that for the people that didn't win, okay? I'm very happy that Marissa did because she laid on the guilt heavy.
I never win anything. I saw it. Yeah.
I felt terrible. My heartstrings.
I know. Right I had a little tear.
Right there.
Sorry. So now everybody knows what to do. Go to Twitter and go to TW's page. It's at author TW Brown. Follow and then message him in his DMs and let him know that you were listening to the podcast tonight. If you were a winner of one of the 3 top prizes, then send him your email address so that way he can send you over the audiobook. For the other 3, right?
Oscar.
No, other 2. For the other 2, just go ahead and say, hey, and let him know which book you'd rather have. You said it was either a snapshot, right, book or a new Dead.
Yep, the new Dead series, or if they want to start with book 1 of the original Dead series, they're welcome to do that too. They have their choice.
There you go. So you have your choice. You just let everybody know what's going on.
Dip their toe into any pond they want.
Do you know a Rhonda Hopkins?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
she just chimed in for the first time during our whole show. Hi, Rhonda.
She is actually an extremely talented writer. She's got a great short story that I was lucky enough to read that is absolutely riveting. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, she just said TW is always awesome and very generous. The Dead series is my favorite, so that's from her.
Yes. So.
Very nice. And then we do. Donna actually has been doing some stuff on the side for us as giveaways and stuff like that, which she'll end up reaching out to the people who are paying attention to the podcast, and I'll take it from there.
So your sister said, "Shall I tell him I'm your sister? Do I get a bonus prize?"
Yeah, you do. You get a bonus. Shut up and leave me alone.
You get a nice little golf clap.
Yeah, there you go. I do want to talk about something else you're involved in real quick before we let you go. We've had you for over an hour. I hope you don't mind. Real quick, you're a dog guy, and you do a water rescue with dogs.
Yes.
Go ahead and what's all that about?
I have Newfoundlands, and they are just like when you think of a Saint Bernard, you think of the big barrel of rum around their neck, and they're up there in the snow saving people. Newfies are sort of that way when it comes to water, and that's whether it's cold water or during the summer now when the water is actually kind of decent. But they're exceptionally skilled at water rescue. They have actually webbed feet. They don't have standard paws like a regular dog. Their feet are more webbed, and they have a different swimming stroke than a normal dog does. It's a much stronger stroke, and it gives them the ability to help people that are in distress. One of the things that they have to do to qualify just for their basic degree is a person out in a boat. Actually, there's two people in a boat, and they have to call for help. The dog sees them, swims out to them, grabs a buoy in its mouth that's attached to a rope, and the person holds onto it, and they pull the boat all the way to shore. For them to get the points to qualify, they have to hear that boat ground. So it can't just be close. It has to ground ashore. So when the dog is up and walking, that's when you start giving a command, pull, 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 and the dog turns and backs up and drags the boat ashore.
That's awesome. Okay, and this is something you've been doing. How long have you been doing this for?
Just started last year, and practicing on Tuesdays and Sundays right now with the one Newfie that's old enough. Now the baby's going out there, and she's kind of getting exposed to it, and we're showing her, some of the things. And so right now it's more of a game to her.
Right.
But our older girl Freya, she has taken to it right away. In fact, first time out, she went to the buoy, grabbed it, dragged it in, ground the boat. We hadn't even worked on commands yet, so it just was instinctual for her. And she's exceptional. So we go out, though. I go out into the water, and there'll be people out around you, and she has to go to the person calling for help. So she goes to the person for help. If it's a swimmer, and she carries a buoy, she circles around them. They grab the rope, and then she pulls that person to shore. So that's just another one of the things that they do. And then it gets more complicated, and the lengths that they have to swim start at 75 feet for their basic degree, and they get all the way up to 125 feet with some of the more advanced degrees. And
wow.
The orders are a little more difficult. There's also, they have to dive off of a platform on the back of a boat and swim out to a person and rescue them. That's another thing that they have to do. So, but it's what the dog is meant for. It's what their job was and is, and they're the perfect dog for it. And it's a blast to do, and it kind of allows me to build just a stronger bond with my dog. So
that's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a great time. I wish I could do that with my big dummy, but he'd probably swim up to the buoy, eat it, and then come back and be like, "Hey, I destroyed that thing out there. I'm back.
Did I do good?"
Yeah. Can I eat now?
So yeah, it's that, and draft card is the other thing that we're working on this summer, and they actually basically get into a harness. They've got a cart that they pull behind them, different amounts of weight depending on, again, the level that they're qualifying on, different lengths on their course. and it's a draft card qualification. It has to be all verbal commands, and it's basically an obstacle course. And so that's, I train for obstacle course races, and then I train my dog for obstacle course work, because I'm actually doing the Spartan Trifecta this year.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Good for you.
So it's working with her kind of forces me to get outside, and then it reminds me that I better get off my ass and, train for the next race.
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't kidding. Because that's no joke. Any last minute questions? What do we have? Anything? Do we have any last minute questions for anybody?
Sin wants to know if Todd
yeah.
likes Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you're a Game of Thrones guy, right? Yeah.
Huge fan.
Okay.
And really happy with how they brought the series to the screen, because I read the series first, and that can be the kiss of death. You see something transformed onto the screen, and because they still didn't do Stephen King's The Stand right, and they had a 5 or 4-part miniseries to give it a shot and still blew it. But it's just they've done what I think is an exceptional job with a very complicated piece of literature.
Awesome. I have a question for you. Actually, it's another question. It's kind of someone else's questions too. But as far as Negan's character in the show, do you know, as far as I do in the comic book, he's still, even down the road, he's still alive. Negan is alive in the comic right now. His whereabouts are unknown. But we're left to assume that he's still alive in the Walking Dead comic universe.
Sure.
Would you, me personally, I think I probably would have killed him instantly. And left him, and left him dead. Instead of, they did this whole thing where Rick puts him in the cell in the bottom of the house that Morgan. We saw Morgan already built. The cell's already there, so they're already foreshadowing the fact that Negan will end up in this cell, and that his torture is supposed to be to watch Alexandria thrive and flourish, and all this stuff, and all that kind of stuff. Would you still have him alive in your comic book universe? No, right? See, no, you wouldn't.
Chance.
Yeah.
That to me is like the classic fiction screw up, and I refer to that a lot. My characters in my books aren't stupid. They've read these things. They've seen the movies. They know the mistakes.
Right.
So the big deal with this new Dead series is my main character Evan, and what is his nemesis is Donnie Evans. Evan knows better than to let him live if he can get his hands on him, and so there's not going to be a nice ending. One of them has to die,
right.
And that's just the way it's got to be. And there's not a, well, we'll lock him up, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. No, because as soon as you do that, they will get out.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, an earthquake will open the cell door, or the rust will eventually eat through the lock. I don't know, but you never leave that. I personally, I would not allow that to happen.
I agree. He
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Looking ahead, where we'll talk real quick about Alpha and the Whisperers. I don't know. I don't see the fear there with Alpha, even though in the comic, they make her to be this, demon, kind of like this person who's just so bad, so evil. But once you lose Negan, he has made that character, like you said, he's doing it to perfection. Yeah. And do you worry about what's coming, what's looming around the corner after the war is over with Alpha and the Whisperers and stuff? I love the idea, the concept of people garbed in zombie skin, and they walk around and they communicate the way they do, and you never know when they're there, basically. That whole thing blows my mind. I think it's great.
I have a character in the vignettes that I get death threats over.
Really?
Yeah. It's funny, because when I created the character Garrett McCormick, what I wanted to create was the ultimate form of evil. The person that you've watched on the 6 o'clock news that is going to take advantage of this situation in the worst possible way. And when you meet Garrett, you already know that this is bad news coming. And when he captures his next victim, basically, and he just refers to it as the toy.
Right.
You get in the vignettes, you get Garrett's story, and then you get Kirsten's story right after. They never learn each other's name. But when I wrote that storyline, I wrote it with the idea that I knew it was the only storyline in the entire book that I knew how it was going to end. The only one. Everything else that happened in that book was organic. It happened as it happened. There were stories that I was like, I'm not ready for this yet, but I've written myself into a corner, and none of my characters are survivors. They're not going to come out with a paper clip and a ball of string and get to the other building and escape unscathed. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
If you've lost 4 pints of blood, you're on death's door and you're not coming back.
Yeah.
That's just the way it had to be.
Right.
So there were characters that I didn't intend to die that end up dying, and there are some that I thought were probably going to die that died earlier than I expected or later than I had planned. But when I wrote Garrett, I wanted to write this guy that was ultimately evil, and when he captures Kirsten, the thing is I'm not going to write the scene between the two of them.
Right.
I don't need to write what he's going to do to her. I take you to that point, and then I stop, and then you get Kirsten's narrative after the fact. But that character is the epitome of evil in my eye, and I had to make sure that storyline had a conclusion. And when I wrote it, it was really about how strong Kirsten was as a person, how she never gets broken by this terrible person. But that's not what people wanted to see. They wanted to fill in the blanks. And actually, I got accused of writing all these horribly pornographic, detailed scenes. And I'm like, okay, cut and paste one and send it to me. They don't exist except here. I mean, granted, I leave no doubt that you know something bad's going to happen.
Right.
But I don't give details. There is one scene that I give you that is a detailed scene with Garrett before he meets Kirsten. And that's just because I want you to have no doubt in your mind how screwed up and evil this guy is. And after that, I don't have the desire to write it. Most people aren't going to want to read it. And so it's not there. But boy, the cease and desist letters that I've had to have sent out because people are like, you need to die. Okay.
Well, that's like,
I'm glad they felt something.
Are you all caught up on Game of Thrones, like on the TV show currently?
I am so ready for next week, yes.
So, you know how last season Sansa was raped by, the hell is his name? Her husband.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But she was violently raped on their wedding night, and there's a lot of current controversy surrounding that.
Yeah.
But the reason they had to do that is because they had to drive home the fact that he is this ultimate evil character, and it was also important for her character development.
And the thing is what was funny is I don't have anything close to the detail that Martin puts in his stuff, and yet people aren't going to tee off on him. Well, they did after last year, but I mean, if you read the Martin series up to that point, the whole thing with Daenerys.
Daenerys and Khal Drogo.
Relationship was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, even on their wedding night, Khal Drogo raped Daenerys.
I mean, that's the ultimate Stockholm syndrome, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what, though? Like, I think for both female characters, it was an important part of them taking a hold of their fate.
Yeah. And if people don't think that that's going to happen, then they're not watching the news.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a world with no rules.
Right.
I mean, watch The Purge.
Yeah.
I think my dead world is populated with all of the people in the middle of the road, and unfortunately a lot of the bad people, because all the good guys rushed out to help people at the beginning before they knew what it was.
Right.
And so the good guys, the policemen that didn't abandon their posts, I mean, we know what happens, like when Katrina and stuff, and something terrible happens, you're going to have desertion. the guys that ran into the storm and, like the guys did at the towers and that sort of thing, the ones that ran into the eye of the storm to save people are the ones that die right off the bat.
Right.
There's no story for them. What you're left with is the people in the middle that are just normal, or the people that crawl out from under their rocks and go, oh, you mean no one can tell me no anymore?
Yeah.
That's terrifying. My books aren't about zombies by about book 5.
Right.
I mean, they're there. In fact, there were times where I'd be writing the book and saying, I should probably mention the Z word. It's been a while. I should have. I would hear the character from Jurassic Park in my head, played by Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
Where he's like, eventually you are going to have dinosaurs in your dinosaur theme park, and I would hear his voice in my head saying, eventually you're going to bring zombies back into your zombie book series. Right? Do that. But I think that's why the series did well.
Right.
Is because you can only read about people being ripped apart so many pages.
Right.
And after a while, it's like, okay, neat.
I think in a real post-zombie apocalyptic world, you're gonna have to worry more about other people than you are the zombies, and that's why I like Walking Dead so much, because now we've got to the point where there's less zombies killing people, and it's more about people killing people and people torturing people.
And there's an infrastructure issue that I still think kind of gets skipped over. I mean, they touched on starvation and things like that, but can you imagine the first winter with no power grid?
Yeah.
I mean, look how pissed off we get when we lose power for a couple of hours.
Yeah, it's true.
And look at the storms that hit us last year. Can you imagine hitting that with no form of power and no form of protection and no real legitimate heat source or food source?
Yeah.
And how did you store up your food after that first year? That's why when I wrote Winter, book 4 of the series, by the time you get there, it's probably the darkest book in the series. Because this is where people start figuring out, I can't go to the store. And raiding houses is getting harder and harder to do.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff sitting in those houses is going to go bad. Not everything is in a can.
Yeah.
So, you're gonna face the reality of having to take care of yourself sort of pioneer style way sooner than we're ready. We're not culturally adept at that. I mean,
we're
I don't know how good you are with growing stuff in your backyard.
We're so screwed. It's if this were to think about it, if this were to really happen, the population of the world would be down 3/4 within probably the first 6 months.
Easily.
I think that's being generous too. I really do. Yeah.
Well, because I'm thinking more because the reason why I'm saying it is because with all the things we've had for TV and books and whatever, for the people who have paid attention or people who are anything into it, they'll have some idea of protection and how to go about whatever. But as far as scavenging, as far as being able to make for yourself, be able to having a green thumb and being able to maybe grow something, or having some kind of wilderness experience where hey, these berries aren't poisonous. This plant you can get water from, or we're gonna have shit left. There's gonna be literally no one left.
Who in your life is the person you're closest to right now?
My family in general.
Shoot them in the face.
Okay.
Can you?
Are they zombies?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But can you look into someone that you love? Can you look into that? Not everybody's going to be able to pull that trigger.
Well, exactly. Yeah. There's going to be people who are going to get eaten by their kids.
But it's all about rationalizing it. Do you want them to be a cannibalistic dead person, or do you want to put them out of their misery?
Yeah. But are you going to be able to believe what you're seeing? Are you going to be able to convince yourself that this did actually, that all that fiction that you said could never happen, happened?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the stuff that I like to play with in the series. Because my zombie children are going to be different.
Right. And that's the thing. I think if it came down to it, I would sacrifice myself for my kids to have maybe one more day. I don't know. I don't think I would be able to like off my children. I don't think I'd be able to off my children. I think I'd be having kind of like a governor moment there, where I would just try to chain them up and be like, just
yeah,
you're dead, but you're still mine.
Yeah, and
you know,
it's just there's a lot to that, and there's a whole psychological side of dealing with your loved ones. It's one thing to say, yeah, I can just go out and I can shoot all these zombies in the head. That's fine if they're random, unnamed, unknown, faceless people that don't matter. But when you start running into loved ones, this decision gets a little bit more tricky, and the knee-jerk reaction that we can say may not be what we're able to actually do when it gets there. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to write about. I mean, that's what I like to put in my books. Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to... I'm stuck on this now. I wouldn't be able to shoot any of them in the face. I think if I were to do it, I would have to do like more of a gentler, kind of more peaceful send-off, where I would probably use a knife to, the brainstem. So that way I was looking at them and just kind of putting the blade in.
And it wasn't as messy. Like,
I mean,
like a shotgun shell to the head. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, you're blowing their face apart at that point. I think I would want to have more of a gentler send-off, Something a little bit more respectful.
But that's what about this sort of fiction, I think, drives it. And I think that's why, I mean, every year you hear people go, oh, okay, zombies are done.
Right.
Okay, well, vampires are done too. Okay, they've been around since forever. This is a resurgence in a brand of fiction, and now it's finally getting attention, because it was so fringe until this comic book turned TV series, because World War Z didn't do anybody any favors,
right?
Except the book. I mean, the book sold well, but the movie was a disaster.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. It was all right.
But they took The Walking Dead and they took Kirkman's Project and they turned zombies into the new vampire. I mean, I think they're now sort of a timeless fiction piece. And while they maybe are not going to stay at that height that they were at, they haven't fallen off, I don't think. I mean, my sales figures don't show that they've fallen off the face of the earth. Every time a new book comes out, people grab it.
Yep.
Yep. And friends of mine that write this stuff, they are still writing it. I mean, it's harder to break into now. If you broke into it 5 years ago and managed to carve out a niche, you're doing okay. People trying to get into it now are having a more difficult time.
Right.
But, that's just the market.
Very nice. Well, we're gonna let you go, sir. It's
all right.
This is I don't want your wife to beat you up.
Well,
it's been an hour and a half, and I gotta say it hasn't felt like an hour and a half.
It has not.
This is probably one of my I've been accused of being too serious tonight by a few of our people here, saying that I'm too serious. So
that and we have a hashtag that's trending. Don't be a dick, Chris.
Yeah, hashtag don't be a dick, Chris. Because I don't know why, but can you see me as being the dick in the couple here? You know what I mean? So
no, it just doesn't ring for me.
Yeah, see, he's definitely got the I'm a dick face more than I do.
Yeah, okay.
It's been a blast for me, and we can do something way more off the wall, and like Halloween time comes around. If you want to ever bring me back, I'm always
absolutely.
I'm always up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually going to do a Halloween special. We've been planning it for a year. Ryan is our resident ghost hunter.
Oh, okay.
So he does all that crazy ghost hunting shit that scares the living daylights out of me. So we've got something in the works, but please, we would love to have you back. This has been one of the better in-depth conversations we've ever had.
Yeah.
So
I can retrend your hashtag for you to Don't Be a Dick TW, and I can tell you what my tagline is for Ghost Hunters International, the show that's been on like History Channel and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It should actually be called "And We Still Haven't Found Shit."
Yeah, he's actually got a couple of really cool stories that we could talk about, offline and stuff. But Yeah, no, thank you so much for being out here. Thank you for being so generous and giving away, some of your stuff to our viewers. Um, do me this favor after we sign off live, just stick around with us for a few minutes so we go over some things. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
TW, you want to say peace out to everybody?
Have a great weekend.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Beast Mode NY. Peace out.
It's always the awkward part. I gotta wait for it to go to the control room, and then I gotta end the stream. It's just very awkward. I wish there was
even more awkward. You're talking while it's happening.
I just wish there was a button I could hit stop. You know what I mean?
There it is. Stop.
No.